Hey everybody, welcome to Average Guy Opinions. I'm your average guy, John Corelli. It is a crisp October day. It's sunny in the background, but it's cool in the foreground and everywhere else. It's a perfect day for coffee and football. We'll talk about some football. Maybe talk about some things we normally don't talk about when it comes to football. Like things that happened this past weekend against the much hated Raiders. Maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. I didn't know about this until I watched the game. But the Oakland Raiders currently employ the first openly gay player in NFL history. Now, there have been other openly gay players, but Carl Nassib or Nassib, I'm not sure how to say his name. I think they said it Nassib if I remember right. But he is the first openly gay player to tell everyone he's gay while being like an every down player, or as every down as we get in today's modern NFL. You know, back in the 40s when guys played literally every down, they were on every special teams play, they were on every offensive and defensive play. Nowadays, obviously, no one does that. But Carl Nassib plays defensive end for the Las Vegas Raiders. God, they've been to so many cities, I forget sometimes, guys. But good for him. It's a big deal, and it's about time, to be honest. I like to think we're living in a century where a lot of norms can be broken and a lot of stereotypes can be thrown away. Now, here's the problem I have. Not with Nassib or Nassib. I should first know how to pronounce the guy's name, but the problem I have is that this is an issue at all, and also the way it is being framed and has always been framed as openly gay makes it sound like they're doing something wrong, right? Now, if you're a big biblical guy and you believe in that stuff, maybe to you they are, but frankly, it's none of your business. It's none. My sex life is none of your business. Their sex life is none of your business. Your sex life is none of my business, and so on, unless we make it each other's business. Carl Nassib didn't do this, but he did. Where it is a weird paradox where he has to, because maybe he's taken, who knows how much shit he's taken his whole life before he maybe even knew he was gay. You know, it's an interesting little thing that's going on. Now, I thought about it when they made this announcement. First of all, about openly, I like I say, I don't like that. It makes it sound like he was doing something wrong. He wasn't. And I also thought that there had been other gay players in the league, and I could only think of three. One was oh, I already forgot his first name, but he was the very first one. He was a running back in the 70s, back when they still had white running backs. Rich Kopay is the last name, Kopay. But he came out after he had retired. The second one was Michael Sam, who many people knew about, and he announced he was gay maybe while he was in college or right before he came out for the draft. Came out, haha. But before he was eligible for the NFL draft, he never had much of a career. He got through LA Rams training camp, and then he played, I think, a preseason and maybe a tiny bit for the Dallas Cowboys. But, talk about two places where maybe you being gay isn't the best thing, and that a pretty conservative fan base, because when he was with the Rams, they were still in St. Louis, which is in Missouri, which is not maybe, Missouri's kind of in the middle of the country. They may be woke on some things, they may be less woke on that, and I can't imagine being a gay player for the Dallas Cowboys. So even the Cowboys in and of itself is kind of gay. The shiny star on the helmet, and I just got to do a quick homage to the teams of the 70s and who I liked and why. There were the three teams, basically. I mean, the Broncos were trying to wedge in there and be one of the major players, and the Dolphins were there too because they were so good. But other than that, it was Steelers, sorry, didn't mean to flip everyone off. Steelers, Raiders, Cowboys. And I liked the Cowboys the least. A, they beat the Broncos in their first Super Bowl, back in Super Bowl 12 in 1978. Secondly, I didn't like that they played on AstroTurf. Didn't like teams that played on AstroTurf. Now everybody plays on field turf pretty much, but Broncos don't. I don't think the Chiefs do. There are a few teams that still play on grass, but I hated teams that whole artificial feel. They had the Cowboys had the stadium that never finished. They were going to make it a dome, and then they got like to here and they left a hole in it. It was weird. And then they were just such a glitzy team, Yeah, they had hot cheerleaders, but it was just glitz and glamour, and they're a very good team. They won a couple Super Bowls in the 70s, and then they won like 3 and 4 years in the 90s. But I just never liked it. I liked the Steelers and the Raiders. I like even though I was a Bronco fan growing up, I liked the Raiders. They were hilarious. They were the bullies. You had the Cowboys Cowboys, who were the good guys, right? You had on the other side, you had the Raiders, who were the bullies and the bad guys, like the Black Bart in the Old West. And then you had the Steelers, who were somewhere in between. They had the talent of the Cowboys, but they wouldn't get pushed around by anyone. They were the tough blue-collar team, and I love those Steelers teams. They won four Super Bowls in 6 years. It was unheard of. Still hasn't been done. They were amazing, and I loved the characters on those teams. So anyway, to get back to gay football players, so it hasn't been many. In fact, I thought I knew four. I knew who Michael Sam was, I knew who Kope was, and I know who Nassib is. But I thought Chris Kluwe, who was a punter for the Minnesota Vikings, he was just an outspoken advocate for gay rights. Isn't that insane that a guy like that's how little it's even talked about, that if you just are outspoken about it, you will get on bad terms with your coaching staff, which is what happened to Kluwe in Minnesota. They sent him to the Raiders. He didn't last a full year with the Raiders, and then he was gone. I think he lasted about 8 seasons in the NFL. He was a pretty good punter, but that's it. I mean, it is funny. It made me think about how you shouldn't even have to, right? You shouldn't even have to come out. It should be a non-issue. It should be like the color of your skin. It's like let's just base people on the content of their character. Like MLK said, I don't care if you have sex with a man or not. When it comes to gay people, I have gay friends that are wonderful. I've known some gay people that were terrible, just like any other segment of society. I have black friends that are great, and I knew black people are terrible, and I do make that differentiation. I don't have friends anymore if they're terrible. Why would I hang out with people that are terrible? But yeah, I wanted to add more to that, but let's see where I wanted to go. It kind of, I guess it could lead into a little bit of what's been going on with Kyrie Irving. Maybe some of you guys are aware of this. Some of you aren't. Kyrie Irving's a really good point guard. He's played all over the league. I think he currently plays for the Celtics. I don't follow the NBA like I used to. He played for the Cavaliers for a while. He's been to a few teams. Very talented guy, but sometimes sounds a little stupid. Like he's an anti-vaxxer, and the NBA is telling him you got to get vaxxed or you can't play. And then people are reacting to that by saying, well, they let Magic Johnson play with AIDS. Yeah, they also took a lot of precautions. And he didn't have AIDS, by the way. He was HIV positive. He never had full-blown AIDS. Luckily for Magic Johnson, he was not only privy to some of the best medical technology on the planet by being a professional athlete, he was also had the money to support getting any kind of therapy he needed to conquer HIV and live a normal, healthy life. So let's start with that. And then that also was maybe it was a good thing for the NBA. Like, well, if we have players that end up bleeding, we need to take care of that, because we don't want blood-borne diseases spreading amongst our league through silliness like an on-court injury or even an in-practice injury. So that has actually kind of led to a semi-good thing. It also, I think, led to a lot of awareness. Magic Johnson got around. I don't know if he got around like Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain, for those of you who don't know this, claimed he slept with 20,000 women in his playing days. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I'm just going to tell you, he did not. Even if he started when he was like a baby. 20,000 days? That's like 30-some years? It's a lot. I think it's like 34 years. It's a lot of years. So you're telling me, even if he had group sex, even if you have sex with 5 women in one night, that's like 5 years of straight sex with 5 women a night. I'm not buying it. You're not going to be the only man to ever score 100 points in a game if you had sex with 5 women the previous evening. Sorry, you're going to be too tired. I don't care if you're a foot taller than everybody and could do things that were illegal now, but they were within the rule book back then. I'm sorry. Well, I'm never going to believe you on that one. But Magic Johnson was known to get around, and that's how who knows how many women he may have infected. That's kind of scary. I mean, we think about is the guy we know. How about all the people we don't know? So hopefully that sets some standards for guys to be more careful, and women to be more careful. Specifically, not even specifically, just any women, groupies, cheerleaders on these teams, fan women, whatever you want to describe yourself as. Hopefully they learned, and hopefully we all do, to be a little more safe. Once again, this has nothing to do with gay sex. This is all about heterosexual sex. And so when I go back to the word openly, I don't care. I mean, Magic Johnson was openly heterosexual as hell and almost lost his life for it, and may have cost a couple people their lives. We don't know. Anyway, kind of got off track there, but there you go. Just got to give mad props to Carl Nassib for being the first openly gay player to announce it while he was playing, and a full-time player. Good for you, man. Oh, I will, and props to the Oakland Raiders, by the way. I did mean to mention this earlier, but I forgot. Despite being the bullies that they have been since their inception in 1960, they are one of the most progressive professional sports franchises out there. They were the first to hire a black coach, Art Shell. They were the first to hire a Latino coach. Why can't I remember his name? Flores is his first name. Jeez. Anyway, and he should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way. He coached 2 winning Super Bowl teams in the 80s, and why is he not in there? Every other coach that has is, so that's weird. They also were the first to hire a woman in their front office, so sorry to add an extra minute to that, but I had to give props to Carl Nassib and the Oakland Raiders for being kind of awesome. So talk to you guys next time. Thanks for listening. My usual babble. See you next time. Bye.